Easter is coming, and kids of all ages love to get interactive pop-up cards in the mail, right? Just look at what happens when I open this card I just made. The Easter chick pops out on a wobbly, and we have all these fun folds that stand up for display and then lay flat to mail. I am Karen Heshik of Karen's Creative Cards, and I sure had fun designing with this On the Move fold flat box card die from Crealies for their YouTube channel and mine. I think this card fold looks like a traditional gatefold until the card pops open and the fun surprise pops out and again stands up for display, and then you can put it in an A2 envelope and mail it. It mails pretty flat, and then when the person gets it, they open it up and a fun surprise pops out. I'll show you, in addition to the On the Move number 15 die from Crealies, to make this card, I used the chick parts die, the egg with fractured surfaces parts die, and the Texto Negativo Happy Easter in the vertical to make that card. Now, of course, all the details on all the cards I share today will be on my blog and on the Crealies blog, and in the description box there's links to all the products shown. I'm going to show you how easy it is to make a card like that. You first are going to take a piece of cardstock, 11 by 5.5 minimum, but I took a 12 by 5.5 and cut it out. And I prefer a slightly thinner cardstock. The super thick cardstock was a little bit hard to fold, so I prefer and suggest a slightly thinner cardstock. And you're just going to take the very biggest main piece and put it in your die cut machine. Now, if you don't have an extended plate, you can simply cut half and then flip it and do the other half. I do it that way, and it's very easy to do. So once you've cut out the main piece, you're going to fold the side down in a mountain fold, and then you're going to fold the next one up in a valley fold. So that creates a perfect traditional gatefold card. And I know that when I've tried to do that without this die, a lot of times that center is not lined up perfectly, but this just does it, just a perfect gatefold. So it occurred to me that I could use this die set to just make a gatefold card as well, and that's what I did here. On this one I chose to do a belly band. You don't need to, but to hold that nice and flat, and also to put a decorative element on the front, I put a belly band on this one. And then it opens up. It isn't going to pop up like the other one. I chose not to do all these extra folds, but I still think it made a very, very pretty gatefold card, and I used all those layered elements there to decorate it. So a happy anniversary card for someone special. On that one I use the happy anniversary Texto Negativo dies and these new hearts with rough edges to make that card. So if we continue, I have the gatefold part of it done, and then you just take these, there's diagonal scored lines in there, and you're just going to press in here. I just do it with my fingernail, and you press forward in the center and down there, and you just encourage these pieces here to fold in. It's really quite easy to do. I'll show you on one that hasn't been started. If you just fold down, push down on those diagonal lines, I just use my fingernail, and I'm encouraging it to fold there. And then this one you push up, and then you just create that triangular part there. And again down here, just pushing up with the, I'm sorry, down with these and up with the center. And it's that easy to put the card together. Let me show you, when I first start playing with one of these fun fold dies from Crealies, I always create a template, and it's something that I just keep and refer to in the future. And there are just so many options here. In the die set, there's some triangles and pieces that have stitches in them and others that don't. So you can do 2 layers here. The second layer can be with or without stitching. You can do 2 layers on all the triangular pieces there, and again with and without stitching. I just happen to be a huge fan of the stitching, so I almost always choose a second layer that has stitching. But in this case, I just chose to put 1 there, and that works too. And then you can again use 2, but on this side here I just used 1, the smaller one with the stitching, and then on this one here I just used 1 without the stitching. So there are just so many options here. You can choose again to use a belly band to hold this closed, or you can just put it in the envelope and it kind of pops open when they pull it out. And I was even thinking, now this is just an extra piece of cardstock that I had, but you could use the back. The back is a fun pop-out one. It would still stand up like that, and you could put a really pretty, you know, picture or some element, some die cut on there, and this could be a card that is a pop-up like that. So the die set itself is very, very versatile and really fun to play with. I'm going to show you how to make a pretty wedding card with this. I've picked out some pretty patterned paper, and I've started to put all the pieces on. Once you did that, just this much, then all you have to do is decide, you know, what dies am I going to use, what is it going to say, and start layering it up. And again, you can choose to just have 1 layer like I did here, or like I did here, and this one has the stitching and these do not. The ones without the stitching are the ones that are a little bit bigger, so depending on if you want them bigger or smaller, you can choose which ones you might want to use. On the back, I did 2 layers so I can write a message here, and then you didn't need to see me gluing all those in, but let me show you a few. I have 2 layers, the stitched and the plain, in that pretty patterned paper. That's, it decided to, the glue needs to be opened again in the brief time. I like to use liquid glue because that way you can move it a little bit once you put it on and make sure you have even sides all around it. And then I have taken the plain larger piece that fits in here and put again the pretty pattern paper with stitching on top. And then we'll glue that in. And then I have 2 of the triangles. I've chosen this time to use the slightly larger one in the dark purple. And of course, I could choose to put 2 layers on each one of these triangles if I wanted. but I decided I liked just the purple. And I'm going to line those up in here. Try to make sure they're straight, which the glue allows me to move it a little bit. And one more triangle. Press it down until it's set. And then I cut another heart with that torn edge heart set that I showed you before, and I'm using one of the Elfie's sets there, and then this one says Forever Together, and I just used the Forever there. I think this will make a very pretty wedding card, but of course it could be used for an anniversary too. And so when the person receives it, it will be in an envelope, and when they open it up, they'll see these beautiful layers there, and then the card will pop open. It'll stand up for display. Love forever, with all that beautiful layered pop-up on what appears to be a simple gatefold, pops up like that. I love how this card turned out, and it will lay flat to mail in an A2 envelope. I hope my cards encourage you to give some of these ideas and products a try, and that you take time this week to be creative.